Hey everyone, it's Justin Hillgrove of Imps and Monsters, and behind the camera is Marcus Young of Lasting Impression Art. I do a lot of shows and conventions, and at those shows, it's nice to have something for people to come up and buy that maybe don't have enough money to get a print or an original, or a lot of kids only come with a few dollars and they want to be able to take something home with them. So a lot of times I'll have stickers or I'll have buttons available on my table. And so I was just going to show you today some of the buttons I've been working on and kind of bring you through the process of making a button. So I just put together some new ones, and they're kind of fun. It's just pieces of my art basically put onto a template so that I can make a button out of it. So what you're looking at here, there's a lot of places online where you can just get buttons made, but if you want to make them yourself, there's a great place that's local to where I am, over in Georgetown, in Seattle. There's a place called buttonmakers.net, and they make these great button makers. And I bought this probably 8 or 9 years ago, and it's made really well. I think it's all steel. And it's seen a lot of use, and it still works perfectly. They're not cheap. A good one's not cheap, but you do get a lot of use out of it. This is part of the package. If you get the package, and this just cuts the circles out of the paper, so you don't have to do it by hand, because that would be a huge waste of time. So anyway, what I've done is I've made a template, and I have a 1 1/4 inch button maker, and even though it's a 1 1/4 inch, I think the actual size of the circles are more like, I think it's 1 1/2 or 1 3/4 inch. And so all I'm doing is I'm taking my circles, which I just printed out on my printer, and I just have to cut them into strips. So I'll just set that aside for now. I take this and just line it up in there, and it comes out all nice. And I could do all those at once, but I'm not gonna actually do a whole sheet of them. I've got my button maker here. There's 3 pieces to it. You've got your back, your little pin back, and you can get magnet backs and things like that, but slip that into one side. I get my image there. I try to line it up. And it comes out as a pin. And then if you do it right, it also, oh man, I did it upside down. I suck at this. Anyway, you get the idea. All right, so thanks for joining me, Dave. I guess you didn't have a choice because you're here. Yeah, and I came to you.
Yeah, I mean, I could have hid. I could have jumped under the table. I know that drill pretty well.
So, I just wanted to ask you a few questions about your art. So tell me a little bit about you and how you got into doing this kind of art.
Cool. Well, this is actually my 10th year. My first art show was 10 years ago this weekend. I got started.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I got started shortly after college, and I ended up going on this big road trip. I had quit my job. I proposed to her. You can stand up real quick. This is my wife, Sarah. I proposed to her, and then I left on this road trip, and I ended up breaking my neck on the trip. And I came back, and I'd had my second art show was up, and that was my sole income. So I just kind of went full bore into it, and that was like how I got my hand function back. I lost a lot of motor function in the accident, and art got my hands back.
So you broke your neck, and then so what was the process of, I guess, getting back to being normal?
I was really fortunate that at the time I was living with a bunch of friends and I had the cheapest rent of my life. So I just committed myself 100% to artwork. That was all I did. And at the time I was selling my records for $20 a pop. If I sold 10 of them, I had rent paid for. If I sold another 7, I had my insurance. You know, it was just like little record increments, kept the roof over my head and the lights on. And was just able to build up from there.
Wow, that's crazy. So tell me a little bit about your art then. Like, what do you do? What's your process?
Cool. So I make pop art on recycled stuff, and I've got kind of 2 routes that I take with that. So I do stencils and spray paint on old records, and I make those by cutting the record sleeves into stencils, spray painting them on one layer at a time. And then I also like to repurpose old landscape canvases, old paintings, and just add little mashup pop art in there. I like doing pop art because you have this connection with people. You know, there's already this connection people have with the characters and the situations. You know, the legends of the stories. You know, you get to kind of play around with them a bit.
Okay. And do you have a favorite piece?
You know, right now, this Dave Chappelle as Prince is one of my favorite ones. Just on a technical aspect, I really liked how the stencils came together. It always makes me laugh. I always feel like I've done my job if people walk away smiling.
All right, and then what inspires you?
You know, it's just like I couldn't say there's any one thing. I'm a media garbage grinder. I always have the radio or Netflix on. I always have some input going in, and sometimes I connect weird things together.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a play on words or scenarios. But I don't know. I haven't had a day job in a really long time, so I spend a lot of time by myself in my garage just playing.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. And then do you have any advice for anyone who's just maybe getting into art?
I would
or aspiring artists?
Sure, yeah. You know, I would say don't be afraid to just get out there. One of the ways that I've been able to make this successful is when I had enough artwork to fill up a backpack, I just started cold calling businesses that seemed cool. You know, coffee shops, bars. A lot of those places don't take a commission, and they're really excited to see your success. And you know, when you're doing well, that means the people in their businesses are happy. You know, it's a really nice symbiotic relationship you can have.
Well, talk a little bit more about hanging your stuff in a business, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, you just gotta find that person that makes the decision. You know, I usually just ask for the manager or the owner. I've actually gotten kind of complacent in this lately. I've been very lucky that people stopped asking me to leave. So yeah. I've got a few places where I'm kind of their mascot, you know. I'm just on the team, you know.
That's cool. So your art's always hanging in there.
Yeah. When I first got started, I would set these goals like, well, I have a lot of work. I can fill up more than one place. Why don't I do 3 art shows this month? And why don't I have 5 places this month? And I would just keep increasing the amount of places. I have a pretty low price point, so it's all about getting it into as many hands as possible, you know. Right. But another point for you aspiring artists, some of those times where things aren't working out, you're laying the groundwork for future success. You know, there's so many times I've done a show like this where the day's been over. I feel like I fell flat on my face. Like, oh, why did I do that? I spent the whole weekend there. And then, you know, it might be years later, someone I met that day is gonna take some interest, or right. You know, maybe we'll make some art together. I mean, you never know who you're gonna meet here. You get a complete cross section of the entire population. You know, you get a little bit of everyone.
That's very true. And then, if someone wants to find out more about you, how do they do that?
Cool. Let's see. I have a website. It's kind of on the way out right now. It's a crappy old website, but it functions. It's manticorestencilart.com, ICORE.
We'll throw those
You-
up.
all right, cool. I'm just so used to spelling it out because it's so long. And then drpopart.com is coming soon.
Okay.
And I'm going to be opening up a brick and mortar shop in the Pike Place Market.
That's right.
And,
That's exciting.
Yeah. That's going to be right around April 1st.
right.
So you can come find me 5 days a week.
All right. Well, thanks so much for
Cool.
talking to me, Dave.
Thanks, Justin.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumb up and subscribe to our channel. If there's anything that you'd like to see Justin and I cover in a future video, please leave a comment in the section below. We'll see you next time.